question that we are about to answer for all of you right now. And we are ready, guys. Oh, baby. I'm feeling that energy in the top left from Generic Green Wings, already starting with a proxy. This is Maru! In the bottom right, about to deal with a world of pain. Also from Generic Green Wings, this is sOs!
And sOs, previously, we've seen him do this scout right after Pylon back when he played against Hero Marine. He knows about that meta with the proxies and he wants to make sure not to get tricked from game number one. Oh, like Maru, he put his barracks on the absolute top right-hand side of the map. How are you even supposed to check for it upstairs, like up all the way on the top right-hand side of the map? Well, and Maru usually follows this up as well with the factory on the other side of the map, which he could hide as well on the right-hand side.
Terrans have just been moving their proxies further and further away from the Protoss as this
it might end up in their base.
They might even go back at home eventually. But as it stands, Maru is going for this proxy. And sOs did the smartest thing here, straight to the main base of the Terran. He knows where he is. He sees that double gas. He sees no barracks in the wall. He sees that single depot, and he knows that there's a proxy out there. It's up to him to realize what it is and what he needs.
And by the way, sOs, when he played against Hero Marine previously, he stole the second gas. And Maru, I'm pretty sure, knew about this, so he took his second gas just on time so that sOs couldn't steal it here from him. So both players have done their studies, and so far, I'm pretty sure this is going exactly as how they had planned so far, with the pylon going down at the ramp here from sOs.
This one's starting to get a little spicy. Zealot on the way here for sOs, just for a little bit of Reaper defense back at home. He could potentially rally it across the map. sOs is trying to force a reaction here out of Maru with that pylon, or at least stop the wall in so that he can force some forces and force some attention to Maru back here. Maru is very clearly looking to go for a couple Cyclones here to put the pressure on sOs. Probe gets taken down. The pylon is still there. Maru's just going to break one Marine off here to start working on that pylon. It's going to take a minute to get it down, but it is important to finish off that wall in as the first Zealot is actually going across the map, not expecting a Reaper because he's seen the Marine.
Yeah, this pylon forces back at least one Marine here to come back and defend, but then sOs is going to use that to sneak in a Zealot, which I don't think can be walled outside of that wall, to then kind of chase on that Marine. So he's going to force SCVs to be pulled off potentially, unless he can kill that before and then re-wall. Cyclones on the way. We've seen Maru go for a Cyclone Marauder proxy previously against one of his opponents, but this time around, it's so far across the map that he's just looking to pump out Marines, Cyclones, and then drop with Medivacs and have those heal. Oh, and sOs.
He's missed the starport, but he's going for the proxy here. He's looking to maybe catch the SCV. One Adept shedding into the main base. The pylon getting pulled attention away here. The Marine dies, so the pylon is living for now. Maru breaks off one SCV to continue working on getting rid of that so he can wall off. But this Adept is doing a bit of damage. However, the big scary unit is on the field. Those two Cyclones going 2 by 2 towards sOs's main base.
And sOs didn't expand. He's going for Blink Stalkers there. So if he can get enough of those, he might just be able to counterattack and win the game, provided he can defend well enough on his side of the map.
Nice preparation here from sOs. He's got those Stalkers on the way, and in true sOs fashion, instantly going into Blink. That shield battery finishing just in time. And as the robotics facility comes up, it gets easier and easier for him to hold against Cyclones. But it's not going to continue to be Cyclones here from Maru. He is switching over into Widow Mines and a Medevac to try and drop into that probe line.
Is he going up to 4 gates? Like, I see 2 more on the way there. Wow, okay, so that's going to be a lot of Stalkers. He's going to make sure that he gets, I guess, an Observer out there and a War Prism to go across the map and reinforce if he wants to go for the counter-attack. Like, will be interesting to see whether either player expands. I feel like whoever expands here could be in trouble against the amount of units that the opponent's going to be throwing at them. Triple Widow Mine loaded up in the Medivac here. Even if you're ready and in position against this, if one of 2 of the Widow Mine burrow on time, you could lose a lot of probes there.
Oh, absolutely. That's what these pylons going to help him out with. The boost on him, but there are 6 Stalkers, Todd. He guns down the Medevac. Lands one miner, gets absolutely no damage. sOs pulls the probes there, loses a little bit of mining time, but absolutely worth it there. Great defense from sOs.
That was so clutch. And now sOs has Blink. He can just trigger that Widow Mine, blink out of there, boom, and then kill it. That's 5 Widow Mines and a Medivac that did absolutely no damage other than pulling the probes away from the middle line just for 1 second.
Wow.
sOs with a fantastic defense here in game number 1.
The cleanest defense, and he catches the Liberator. sOs is all over Maru. Oh man, you just have to grin at this point. Maru giving his team benefit of the doubt. The proxy has been shut down. He's been read like a book, like Cat in the Hat with 3 words per page. sOs all over this one. He's really starting map 1 very strongly here.
And for Maru to come back from there, it's going to be so tough. Still, some Widowman getting caught. He's trying to fly back home with whatever he can, but we've got a Nexus on the other side of the map underway already. And sOs, I'm pretty sure, is already planning for the next defense with some more Stalkers back at home. Maru needs to find some damage. He needs to find some momentum in this game, despite the fact that they're equal on workers right now.
Well, this could be it. The Stalkers are across the map here. It doesn't look like all the Stalkers, but a good chunk of them are here to try and pressure that main of Maru. He doesn't have a natural yet. Nothing in the middle line. No reaction from sOs. Maru's about to get a bunch of probes here. Oh, man. 12 probes go down just like that. And all of a sudden, Maru is looking a little stronger here on his 1 base.
And this might force sOs to commit for an attack here. Maru's fully aware of that, knowing that all the damage that he did was crucial.
Ooh. Guns down 1 Cyclone, good start there for sOs. He can always blink to escape, but he's going deeper here into the main of Maru. Jumps on top of that Cyclone, guns it down, takes the Marine out as well. And while Maru is ahead in SCVs, that might be changing in a second here. GG! sOs! One of the few people in this world to upset the momentum, the 3-time GSL champion Maru. What a start here. Potential upset. Oh man, I'm already feeling it.
Right, all along.
There's nothing more infuriating than a correct Artosis. And if sOs gets another couple maps, we are going to be dealing with one.
Wow, what a great performance from sOs. This builds everything. The scouting early on really catered to everything that Maru was planning on doing. And despite not being able to spot exactly where the proxy was right from the start, he kind of read it into it very, very well. And he's done his studies. This is what you expect at this level. They've watched each other's VODs. sOs was like, oh, you like to proxy and be very aggressive on 1 base. Well, I'll just go blink Stalkers, defend perfectly what you're throwing at me, counterattack, and then kill you. And it worked out perfectly. So if Maru's game plan going into this best of 5 series here was to do a lot of builds like this, now all of a sudden, he has to question all of his build orders against what sOs just did.
Well, that's the thing in Starcraft is part of the reason why it's so wonderful is that, you know, there haven't been any patches for Brood War, but the meta keeps shifting. Players are figuring things out. This Terran meta that's been hitting the Korean ladder so hard and even outside of Korea, Protosses are figuring it out. They are starting to find ways to make little to no damage and just force the Terran to make mistakes, to actually use it to their advantage, and then control the game from there, which sOs showed us. There was absolutely no point in that game where sOs was behind.
It feels as if you think a Terran is going to make his barracks outside, like somewhere on the map, all you have to do is scout after pylon. And then if he doesn't have the barrack in his base, you just keep on scouting. You can steal his gas sometimes, which Maru didn't let happen last game. But you're really in control of that scouting a lot more than your opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting into map number 2, guys. Keep those vocal cords warmed up, because it is time to make a bit more noise here in the Anaheim Convention Center. And that's up right from Jin Air Green Wings. This is sOs! And in the bottom left, this, the Terran from Jin Air, it is Maru! Very early probe here from sOs, and he's dropping a Forge! Lost and found in its full glory here. This is how some Protosses love to play this map, Haas included, but sOs has far better mechanics and is a far scarier cannon rusher.
Warcraft 3 Reforge was announced earlier. He's going for his own Forge.
Exactly.
It's going to be down the ramp in that one spot where Maru won't have vision early on.
Maru won't have units.
Perhaps relying on the barracks not being in the main base, which makes it harder to defend against this.
Well, absolutely right. Like, if there's cannons hitting you, what are you gonna just fight SCVs when those cannons are done? I don't think so. Maru needs to see this with his SCVs and fight the cannons on that low ground and the high ground. sOs now in vision here, and Maru needs to start to react. The cannon rush has begun.
It looks so peaceful from his point of view. He's just like looking around. He's like, yeah, I'll make the next cannon here and just do all the damage in the world. For Maru to defend this is going to be so tricky. Now he's trying to start working on that one probe, but that's why there is a second probe, a Maynard probe here, to be ready and in position.
Well, this is already very, very bad for Maru, man. I don't see how he stops this. This is about the time when you start to lift your structures up, let the orbital finish and try and save as many SCVs as possible, because he cannot fight this.
And sOs already thinking ahead. He knows that there's going to be potentially a Reaper counter-attacking his mineral line. He's already got the gateway underway, gets another cannon instead of his main mineral line. Going for gas, all he has to go for is some Stalkers, some Adept. He's gonna force the command center to fly away already here because mining was about to be prevented.
SOS smartly cancelling that third cannon. He's put in a few hundred minerals here into this maneuver against Maru. But Maru is not dead yet. He does still have that factory across the map. And SOS has started a cannon in his mineral line. A cannon will be a nice start for his defense to the counterattack of Maru here. But will it be enough?
If there is any known regular StarCraft viewers checking out this game right now, this is not how your typical Terran versus Protoss usually goes down. But when SOS is involved, anything is possible. Maru forced to relocate.
Yeah.
SOS trying to stay ahead here any way he can, ahead of things that could be thrown at him. So he's got that Cybercore here about to finish. And usually we'll see either an Adept or a Stalker starting, and then he has to choose for what tech he goes into.
I think the biggest thing that's hurting Maru here is that he didn't get enough gas to start a Cyclone. He forced a Hellion out here, and a Hellion's not really what you want at this point of the game. I mean, yeah, they can be all right against pros, but as we know, SOS already has that cannon in the middle line. Is he going to cannon rush from...
No, that gate is genius. He can reinforce there. Once he has Warp Gate, he could just warp in a ton of Stalkers and then force Maru to either relocate or take a bad fight up the ramp where he previously had a base there.
Well, this Hellion's using his superior range here to put some damage on those probes. There's no shield battery here, so they're not getting their shields back very quickly. The cannon is out of range for now. Maru doing whatever he can with whatever he has. As the Stalker comes out, this Hellion should be shot down. The two Zealots are never going to catch that little speedy car there.
I really don't know how Maru is supposed to defend if there are Stalkers warped on the high ground here above his base. It's going to be so hard for him, but obviously getting some Cyclone is going to help. Yeah, 2 more gates. It's just going to be a 4-gate Stalker.
Well, you know what? It could work out here once Warp Gate's done. Like you said, he can actually warp in very quickly here in front of Maru's face. That Stalker catches this Hellion on the high ground, takes a couple zaps, gets pushed back. There is a Cyclone out for Maru.
That's a big commitment, though, because he has no transition possible. He's only on 24 probes. See, he's not making any more probes. So that has to work. If Maru somehow holds this, he's going to be way further ahead, and he will just have won the game.
Definitely, but the heat is really hitting here for SOS. Using that Reaper for some high ground vision so that the Cyclone can do a little bit of damage here on that Stalk, but it is only shield damage. The Zealots are coming on in. Maru just holding on with a few units here, and he's actually doing all right so far. Bigger repair here on that Hellion to make sure it's stand and fight against these gateway units.
Yeah, SOS forced back here for now. Shield battery going up on the high ground there. That's going to help a lot. If Maru even pulls some SCVs and chooses to attack there. By now, Maru should know what's happening. And actually, SOS warps in on the other side. Interesting. He's going to force an explosion here from that one Widow Mine and then remove it. SOS is committing to defend on the high ground. He thinks that... he thinks that SOS is going to be reinforcing there, but SOS is attacking at the front.
He is, and it looks like Maru's getting stretched really thin here. The Viking does do bonus damage against the Stalkers, but there's too much. The Stalkers pick it off out of the ground. Maru picking up his base again to try and go somewhere else. Repairing with that with those SCVs on that Cyclone. He actually doesn't have a ton of minerals to continue these repairs. And he just has to tap out. GG! SOS is on match point against the 3-time GSL champion. What? This is a big upset to start things off here. SOS gets that third game. That Maru Serral final that everyone wants is not going to happen, Todd.
The potential massive clash between Maru and Serral in jeopardy. From the first series of the day with SOS against all odds, coming out with some insane defense in game 1 and now a cannon rush of all things in game 2. When do we ever see this?
Yeah. I mean, Lost and Found is the kind of map where that can happen. Generally, Maru is, I'm sure he's expected to fought that against that before, but I really feel like he needs to stop proxying. SOS is all over him, man. Like white on rice, he's got this. The proxy strategy, SOS seems to have figured it out. They are teammates, so obviously they play together a lot. They've probably practiced together a lot. But unfortunately, this is a best of 5 where only one player gets to go through and the other one is eliminated.
If somebody had told me that SOS or any Protoss would have been cannon rushing Maru successfully, I would have said, you're out of your mind. That's never going to happen. But SOS, the guy to come out with it and make it work beautifully. Everything was well thought of. It looked like one of the best things you could ever do almost at this stage.
He did make it look really, really strong. You know, it's one of those things where it's a little bit of an art form, but considering Maru was proxying, if he had a factory at home on the way and he had his barracks at home, he actually would have been probably okay. We'd probably still be casting that game. But SOS is just reading Maru so well. He knows what he likes to do, and he's punishing him for it. Can Maru fight back? He's got one more life in this series. But this guy's holding all the cards so far. In the top left, Engineer Green Wings, currently on match point. Make some noise for SOS! bottom right. One more chance here. Make some noise for Maru.
Same old barracks across the map, but this time pretty close to SOS's base. Not quite hidden in a corner.
Not quite, and this isn't the greatest cannon rushing map here, so SOS is going for gateways.
Yeah, the same early scout from SOS, who again, not allowed to steal one of those gases. You see he was going straight for it. Maru does not let that happen. Grabs that quickly for himself.
Yeah,
SOS will know though that there's a proxied barracks on the map.
So this means there will very likely be a proxied factory as well. If I would actually love for Maru to make that factory at home instead and just rely on his barracks rush to get the damage done or to try and give him a little bit of an edge. It is very, very tough against someone as good as SOS to make that happen though. The Cyclone's a really, really important piece of the pie. But SOS just doesn't seem to be afraid of Cyclones. Like, yes, we are going to see them, but SOS did such a good job on Acid Plant against them. Yeah. I don't feel very confident for Maru to do it again.
I mean, SOS has been reading perfectly on what Maru's been doing thanks to his early scouts, but the other way cannot exactly be said for Maru, even though like he's gotten some info here and there. Like I feel like last game he realized kind of late. Like obviously the cannon rush he didn't see coming, but then he realized kind of late what was happening with the multiple gateways and stalkers.
I'm pleased to see the factory at home here for Maru, so he is chasing things up. Not putting his entire main out on the map this game, so he potentially could go a fair bit longer, but SOS, if he smells blood in the water, if he smells weakness, he can get aggressive with a lot of gateway units and actually make the game kind of short. We got that Zealot out for that Reaper defense. It does eat up those Reaper shots. Got the target fire here as Maru. Nice control from SOS so far. Nicely placed structures as well to keep that Reaper stuck in one direction.
Yeah, it will make it out though.
Nice
macro on the probes. Oh, he won't.
Got him.
Well done by SOS, who's now going to head across the map where we've got that one pylon in the wall. Kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Obviously, a Adept can come across the map again. It is a little bit annoying. The Adept can come across the map again and once again, you know, do several SCVs worth of damage like it did on Acid Plant in Game 1. SOS is scouting for this proxy. He's not convinced that that is it from Maru, and I don't blame him. Here comes that first Adept to shade on in. Really nothing at home for Maru except for SCVs at the moment.
Yeah, usually when Maru goes for this build order, he gets an eBay block on the second base of the Protoss, but in this case, because of all that was happening, he had a pylon going up on his side of the map. Didn't quite go for it, but this is similar to the game 1 that he played against Sneeb, where he made the factory back home. That Adept is on a rampage.
Gets 4 SCVs, doesn't quite get 5, but a nice counterattack there from SOS, definitely using his tools to get as much done as possible. That Zealot's starting to work on the supply depot, but I don't think that's going to happen. This Cyclone is going to pop out. SOS getting a little spicy here, dropping a Nexus in the top right. Maru intending to take his natural by the looks of things.
SOS, he wants to get all the money, all the minerals in the game as a reason, as a way to get all the money in real life by winning this tournament here potentially. This is a huge move, which if Maru doesn't realize this is happening, it's going to be tricky for him to counter properly.
So Maru's doing something a little bit tricky here, hiding a starport under the bottom, trying to go for Cloak Banshees. This is something that Maru loves to do as well. He did against SOS in Super Tournament, but as we know, our historians out there, SOS won that series 3-1.
Yeah, this is actually, by the way, this build order is similar to the build order that Maru did against Sneeb when they played on Lost and Found, which was basically the same build as here, factory back at home, but then he went for a big push with Widow Mines, Cyclones. Remember that was the game where Stasis Squad trapped a bunch of units, and then Maru still killed Neeb right after. So SOS, having seen those games, he might think that this is the same thing, but it's a Cloak Banshee, against which like you need to be ready and in position inside of your base with your stalkers to make sure you're able to defend, and with an observer there as well.
You're absolutely right. The observer and the Blinker stalkers are exactly what you need to punish the Banshee, but they have to be there. They have to be in position.
If he's out of position, he just uses recalls, so that means he won't have it. Supposedly SOS should be at home, but if he was to move across the map to be the one that's aggressive with these units, then that'd be really bad, because that Cloak Banshee then would do a loss.
This is actually really nice for Maru. He's going to see that early gold base from SOS, which is very naked. He's warping in some stalkers there to help out. But now Maru knows it's here, and it's going to be tough for SOS to defend in 2 places at once against Banshee.
And SOS going straight into charge right after that, by the way. So looking to transition into charge lots, maybe with a quick third and a lot of gateway units, like we saw him play previously against Hero Marine. That Banshee didn't even get to do much, but he knows that the units are there in position. Now 2 more gateways already. SOS kind of worried that, I think, against some sort of big push, which we often see Maru do when he goes for Marines and Cyclones like this.
I think this is going to be one of those games.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's almost what he's expecting. Like, if I look at the production tab and the way everything is going down, SOS is anticipating this push, and if he gets the defense here, that might be his ticket to the semifinals, Maynard.
Absolutely, and he is doing all right so far. That Cloak Banshee, no Observer support, is doing some damage here to the Stalkers. A second one coming down here. Maru has his sights set on that gold base. SOS is warping in to defend. The Observer has arrived, so these Banshees can be taken out. One goes down.
He needs
There's
some
a siege tank here, though. Yeah, charges on the way. And he definitely wants those frontline Zealots here to try and help him out against this army. Maru's push looking a little bit scary. A lot of those Stalkers are already softened up. Goes for the siege tank, picks it off. Can the Cyclones punish SOS? Does Maru have enough DPS? It doesn't look like it. SOS gunning down these units, the SCVs for that mass repair. But SOS can warp in another round of units here shortly. That Banshee picking up some probes in the back line. The Stalkers get rid of the Banshee though, and the SCVs have nothing left to heal.
Yeah, the shield battery helped a bunch. Now Maru's going to be the one with his expand going up, but there is that huge threat. There is so many gateways from SOS. He's grabbing a Warp Prism, still killing those SCVs that were on the map. He could easily go for the counter attack here once that Warp Prism is out there, even warping in the main base if he wanted to. And for Maru to have enough, it's going to be so tough after this push.
He does have 2 siege tanks, which are fantastic against Stalkers. Getting the Observer is a nice start as well. The Observers have to go up there blind. Or the Stalkers, rather, have to go up there blind. He has a third one here with those Zealots. There's not a ton of units on that ramp, but that second siege tank makes things very awkward for SOS. This Banshee getting some probe damage, but of course SOS in a very good spot here with that gold base still providing income. Here he comes, charge is done. The Zealots getting in there. The bunkers are not complete. He guns down one of the siege tanks, and the second one trying to get mass repaired. Another Banshee pops out. A second tank for Maru here on the high ground, trying to fight back. Can he hold on? SOS is bullying through here.
Yeah, and the Warp Prism is going to help reinforce straight into the fight as well.
Oh no! The big upset here is SOS gets into the main, and GG, just like that. Maru Cyril, the destined grand final, is crushed. SOS will be in the semi-final here with a 3-0 over the 3-time GSL champion. What a start here. I'm actually almost lost for words.
Yeah,
I know it's my job to talk right now, but I'm actually flabbergasted.
So many people should be as they were counting this man out. And he came out with some fantastic preparation that showed through, some great build orders, and he takes out the favorite.
Artosis was right. Cower in fear, Starcraft community.
Lord have mercy on us all.
Lord have mercy on us all. Maru had such a fantastic year, but could not end it up in the big final. And let's go to SOS and Smix on the stage.